What's going on, everyone? DSP here, and with me is John Rambo, and we are going to do our E3 recap.
It's fucking hot out.
It is fucking ridiculously fucking hot out today.
Yeah.
It's disgustingly hot. We had really bad torrential thunderstorm downpours last night, and unfortunately, John's power is
power's
gone.
out. The house is about 120 degrees.
So
I showed up here today.
So you came over here today a day early, and we figured, what the hell, E3's over. It actually ended yesterday, so we'll do our E3 roundup video, talking, a little bit about what happened this year with the press conferences and games and stuff like that. We did this last year as well. Unfortunately, unlike last year, I can't show you any video or pictures or anything copyrighted due to
They saw it all.
advertising.
There's so much. There's like too much available.
Yeah, you could see everything you want. If you go to thekingofhate.com, there's an entire forum section and game news about everything that happened to E3, where you links direct to videos and stuff. So there's no problem if you need to get
I just want to thank those that while the conferences were going on, I was doing live Twitter updates. People were conversing, so thank you for those that followed along.
You are on the forefront of social media, aren't you, John?
I actually never did that before. I didn't really. Like when it came on, I was like, oh, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I was like, is that what people do?
Yes, this is it.
I was like, alright, I'll do that.
That's it. That's
so that was fun.
the new
Actually,
wave.
that was pretty fun.
So anyway, what we'll do is we'll start off talking about the three major press conferences: Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. What the points that they hit upon, our feelings about everything they talked about, and then we'll move a little bit more into maybe some of the games and things that were discussed, even though there weren't really many discussed besides stuff we already knew about. So, all right, so. The major start of E3 this year was Microsoft. They opened up with their press conference, and I think that everyone was like, wow, this is it. This is Microsoft's year. They've got a lot of good flagship games that are coming up. We hope there'll be some really surprise announcements this year. Last year was all about motion control. That's gone and done. It's behind us now. We can finally move on and get to the games.
That's what we thought.
That's what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
But it was pretty funny. Microsoft opens up their press conference with Call of Duty and Tomb Raider, which last time I checked were cross-platform games.
I think last year they opened with Call of Duty also.
Yeah.
And they tend to always act like Call of Duty's an exclusive game.
They do.
Even though it's...
I think it's because they know it sells so much, it pretty much is their highest selling game, so they want to push it.
But it's just goofy that they start off with like a third-party game.
Right.
Almost advertising for both systems.
Right.
It had this really bizarre, like... It looks like a video of someone playing, but there's a guy sitting there with a controller. Like, is he actually playing? Like, I don't think he is. It's like the I wrote this on Twitter. But it's like the video game equivalent of lip syncing.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I think someone's pretending to play the game.
I think
that's what's going on.
Of course, it's an actor. Of course.
And like 5 seconds into it, the controller thing comes up on the screen. Please just reconnect the controller. And they fix that, but yeah, Call of Duty, and it's like really long. It's like gameplay, blah blah blah.
Right.
And they go to Tomb Raider,
which everyone already saw. Like this, it's not a new game. People have seen media on this game for like 3 months now.
Tomb Raider does not deserve to be part of the conference. Like, I don't care if this is the best Tomb Raider game or the best game ever. Like, Tomb Raider, the series, is gone downhill so badly that like they need to make like 3 great Tomb Raiders, and then they'll be allowed to show footage to it. But, like, the second game you show is of the Tomb Raider series.
Yeah, very odd. Very odd.
It's like, what?
But yeah, unfortunately, there was one major announcement. The one major announcement of the Microsoft press conference was Halo 4. It was a big. No one really knew. It was kind of rumored. But everyone was expecting that there was going to be a Halo reboot, which they also talked about as well.
Yeah,
which
Halo Anniversary.
It's kind of fucking weird. 4. So you're going to have Halo 1 come out again and Halo 4. It's like, okay, we're Halo overload. Here we go again. But
it seems like it's it's their cash cow, so they're just going back.
But I don't know. I'm kind of having second thoughts. Like, it's not Bungie anymore. So how's
not only did they announce Halo 4 though, they go, this is the start of a new trilogy.
Right.
So essentially they announced 3 games.
3 new games. And it's like, but it's not Bungie. This is a new studio picking up the reins.
It's gonna sell a ton of copies, but if you're sick of Halo, then there's nothing really for you.
Right.
And also in this conference they brought out Kodo or Kudo.
All right. Well, now we got to start talking about this.
He's the guy that wears sunglasses, and
he's an asshole.
He actually acts like the Kinect is like this great work of genius.
Yes.
Usually needs to be like tied up, bag, beaten with sticks.
You know what they should make him do? You must solve this elaborate puzzle using Kinect controls, or else a bag of feces will pour on your head. And he's like, no, no!
It's basically like instead of making a good Kinect game, they're just throwing Kinect things into the other games.
Here's the thing. Kinect was a big seller, okay?
Was it a big seller?
It was a giant seller. It really was. And again, similar to the Wii, the reason the Kinect was a big seller, it was revolutionary technology of how to control the game. It wasn't hardcore gamers who were buying it. It was the common, oh, this is cool, I can play Dance Central and mimic dance moves, and you saw me act like an asshole using Kinect, so you can understand why, kids or a family might like fucking around with it for a little bit. But Microsoft, from the get-go, was saying the Kinect was going to work with hardcore games. It would be for the hardcore gamer. There's not one hardcore game that uses the Kinect. None, okay? So what Microsoft is trying to do
There's not many games that even have that the Kinect works with.
Right. They had their first wave of launch titles.
It was like 15 games or something.
It's been like a very dry spell.
Right. So it's almost like they don't really know what to do with it themselves.
No, but now what they're realizing is, oh shit, number one, the sales are going to drop off. They know that. Just like with Wii, the sales are going to drop off. So they need a way to appeal to a new audience. And number two, they're like, oh shit, we promised everyone this is supposed to work with hardcore games. We need to do something about it. So, like John said, instead of focusing on making a bunch of really good games made just for the Kinect, it seems like they're just taking the games they know are going to sell anyway, and they're trying to throw Kinect into them to say, oh, look, it works with a hardcore game. So a perfect example of this, they showed Mass Effect 3, and everyone's like, oh shit, you're going to be able to play Mass Effect 3 with the Kinect? That would be cool. You go this way, you go this way, Nothing like that at all. All it is, it uses the microphone inside of the fucking thing, so when you're doing your speech options from your dialogue trees in the game, you can actually say what you want to say, and then Shepard will say it, and it's like...
Right. It seems tacked on. Like
what's harder, this or this? So I blah 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 blah. It's like, do I really want to talk to my fucking TV all day?
Right.
It doesn't really make sense.
And we talked about this too. If you have like people over, you had stuff going on in the background,
right.
You got music on.
Yeah, a lot of people play these games with custom soundtracks. They're not the only person in the room. You've got kids running around, or maybe the kids playing and the parents running around.
Late at night, at your apartment, whatever. You fucking talking like
you got roommates. The TV's on in the other room, so it's like
it seems like it seems like they're taking games that were coming out anyway, had nothing to do with Kinect, and adding like a small Kinect feature to the game,
right?
To make it.
To say that the hardcore game is working with
instead of just making a good Kinect game. And this brings me to the new Fable, which is probably not going to be very good.
For me, that's probably, out of all the stuff they showed with the Kinect, I might actually like that one, because at least it's a game that they're trying to gear towards using just Kinect controls.
I can appreciate that better. This like, we're making a game for the Kinect. We're going to make sure it actually works correctly.
Right.
And it's going to be good. Like that I can respect. The other shit's not going to really...
The problem is it's Fable.
The problem is it's Fable, and the video they showed, it's got the same woman.
It's the same fucking game for like the fourth time. It's got the same
enemies.
It's funny because every time they announce a Fable sequel, they're like, we're promising the world, and the game comes out, you're like, I'm playing the same fucking game I played twice already.
Of course, Peter Molyneux was there, and doing his whole shtick.
He's such an asshole.
I played all the Fable games. I think I'm done.
Yeah, at this point, it's the same fucking game. It's a nice gimmick to say, oh, I played a Fable game with, motion controls, but the thing that, we'll talk a little bit more about it.
It's called Fable Journey, yet it has no music by the band Journey. That was my main problem with the game.
There's a running theme that we're going to get to after we talk about all the major press conferences, so we'll get back to it. So, anyway, that's pretty much it. That was the Microsoft press conference. There wasn't much else talked about.
I would say, I'm going to get in trouble, I'm going to say this was the worst of the three conferences. Just due to lack of anything new.
When you really get to the meat of it, the only new thing they announced really that anyone cared about was Halo.
If you like Halo, that's your bag, that's your thing,
right?
And you're having a good time. But everyone else, it's like more Kinect,
right?
And they just seem kind of lost at this point.
They don't know what to focus on. Yeah,
they had such a good run the last couple of years. Now they're just kind of like, where do we go from here?
But it needs to be said, it was still better than last year's press conference. So
yeah.
Last year was like, I can't believe how you could get worse than what last year. For all three.
My problem is like last year they were saying the Kinect is going to be so good, but this year they're pretending like it is.
Right, it is. Now, just because something sells doesn't mean that the quality is there. It means that it's a fad, and that's what these companies are understanding.
There's a lot of Kinect.
So all right. So Sony's press conference was pretty funny, to say the least.
It opens with a montage.
It opens with a nice montage.
Do you think they used Sony Vegas to make the montage?
Probably.
But I would hope so.
And then there was, obviously, the elephant in the room was that the whole problem with PlayStation Network over the past couple of months, that everyone's personal information was leaked or whatever. So it was pretty much the whole tone of this press conference was very apologetic. Oh, you know, we're very sorry and we're doing everything we can, and reiterating that they're giving the free identity services or whatever, protection, all that kind of stuff happened in the press conference.
Yeah.
But we all kind of expected that was going to happen anyway.
What was good about them, they went right into here's our exclusive games.
Right.
And these are games that are good.
Strong, exclusive games for the PlayStation 3. Uncharted and Resistance, which everyone knew were coming out, but those are like the flagship franchises right now for the PlayStation 3.
Uncharted looks awesome. They showed a lot of gameplay. The same thing with the guy pretending to play, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, those look really good. Resistance.
Right.
They got into they got into some weird territory when they're like, here's a game for the Sony Move. Now we're gonna put our 3D glasses to play it.
Oh god.
And you're just like,
it was like, okay, so 2 people who own a 3D TV
right.
can see this. It's excellent.
Who owns a 3D TV and a Move? Like, what is this?
What demographic is this appealing to?
Right. What is this target
Some
audience
fucking
here?
jackass in like a giant mansion who has like 14 TVs.
Right. So there was some stuff with the Move, including NBA 2K12, and I don't think they meant to do this, but they were showing how like it's very easy to play this game with the Move, and they're like, anyone could play this game. To show you, here's Kobe Bryant. So it's almost like any idiot can play this game. Here's
some asshole.
Yeah, here's this.
It's Kobe Bryant. Oh shit.
So, I don't know. I don't know.
No, what it was is Kobe was at the conference,
well,
and they were like, well, let's just choose a random person from the conference to play this game. It just happened to be Kobe Bryant.
Well, it's the basketball game, so it makes sense. But
right.
I don't know. Same kind of deal. They act like the Move is really great.
Right.
When it's
really
really not.
It's actually, if you look at sales numbers, the Move is paling like really badly in comparison to the Kinect. It just has not. It's sold, but it has not been a success sales-wise like the Kinect was, and I think Sony at this point doesn't know what to do with it because they can't really. Like you saw when I fucking play games with this fucking piece of shit, it doesn't work. It's hard. It's very hard to control the games with this thing.
Yeah.
So I think right now they're struggling as like, what do we want to do with this? Do we want to have it for more hardcore games? Do we want to have casual games? Like, they don't know what they're doing with it right now.
Yeah, you got into that territory with the 3D TV. They were talking a lot about that. There's actually a PlayStation TV coming out that is 3D, and I think it comes with a PS3 or something.
Right, or it's like somehow it's integrated.
And they talked about the Move, and that kind of pisses you off because, like, well, you know, a lot of people don't have this stuff.
Right.
So it's like, what the fucking?
Very odd.
I just picked 50-pound PS3. What does that do for me?
The system that's at home that I bought 3 years ago, and I'm waiting for stuff for it.
That has the capabilities to have more great games.
Yeah, before dropping another $2,000, what are you offering me at this conference?
Right.
I think the major announcement and focus for Sony was that they are now naming the new NGP, which is the next generation portable. It's now called the PS Vita.
Vita.
Vita. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Vita.
Vita or Vita. I don't know. But again, it's strong. I think the best thing about it, of the whole thing, was the price point. The price point for this thing, it has near HD graphics, beautiful screen.
It's got buttons.
It's got lots of, it's pretty much geared towards the hardcore gamer. It's got those controls.
It's got the right shoulder pads, buttons, got touch buttons in the back.
Yeah, it's got thumbsticks, everything that you would want for
I think
this
it looks
sucker.
cool. I like it.
And there's 2 different models. One's Wi-Fi enabled, so if you're playing it at home, and then there's one that's 3G enabled, so you can play it on the go, wherever, online. And the price point, $250 for the Wi-Fi version, $300 for the 3G version. I think for people who are comparing this system now with the Nintendo 3DS, that I would be like, gee, it's the same price, and I can get HD graphic games, and the quality of the games. That was the other thing. They pretty much announced every flagship franchise is going to be. Uncharted is going to be on it. You're going to have a portable version of Resistance. Street Fighter X Tekken actually is going to be on it, and they announced that Cole McGrath from Infamous is an exclusive character in that game. So all the flagship titles are going to be on this thing.
Yeah.
And for me...
Sure, you get God of War, Ratchet & Clank, all that stuff.
Oh, of course. But for me personally, I'm not a person who games that much on a portable system. So for me, it wasn't a big announcement. I know I've said before, if I had a choice between playing on a tiny fucking screen with 2 little shitty speakers and my TV with my surround sound, obviously I'm going to choose that. But if I was really focusing on a portable system right now, I'd probably look for the PS Vita, because right now the Nintendo 3DS, I mean, it's not HD graphics. It's kind of the same as a regular 3DS, except it has 3D, and it's like, where are they going with that system? So that's just my opinion on it. But the one thing that I really disliked about it is they've announced that the exclusive carrier for this is going to be AT&T. Now wait a minute. AT&T was the exclusive carrier for the iPhone for like 3 years, and the number one complaint about the iPhone had nothing to do with the iPhone. It was that AT&T fucking sucks. It's not a good cell phone service. It's not a good internet service. They drop out in a lot of major cities. You can't even make a phone call on an iPhone. So why on earth Sony would make an exclusive partnership with AT&T to do their service? It like blows my mind. It's kind of like saying your neighbor's house just burnt down because of a heater that he uses. So then you go buy the heater.
Right.
You know, I just don't get it. You had the perfect opportunity to see that it failed somewhere else, and then you just use it for your service.
Well, it's probably better for them, some kind of cheapness thing or something.
I'm sure there's a financial reason they're doing it, but why not go with a company like Verizon or another company who's more, you know, they have a higher customer service rating? I don't get that.
I just want to say I went to Radio Shack to buy an RCA cable, and the guy behind the counter asks me what cell phone plan I have, so I said Verizon. He starts going off, and the guy's a dick, and he's like, they pay a lot of money, so you think they have the best service. We offer AT&T here, that's the best service, and you should get that, we're going to save you lots of money.
I would have thrown my fucking phone at him.
I was pretty annoyed by it, so I'm glad that I have this event. So if you're ever in the Danbury, Connecticut location, you go to Radio Shack, definitely take a big dump on their floor. Or just knock over a shelf by accident.
Wow, oops. So that was pretty much it for the Sony press conference. Now Nintendo. This year, Nintendo's press conference was probably the most anticipated because there were rumors swirling around for the past couple of weeks that Nintendo's finally going to unveil a new console coming next year. It's going to be HD graphics, and everyone's been waiting for this because the Wii, for what it was...
People are very excited.
Again, the Wii, was a hot seller, okay? But it really was a seller amongst people who don't really play video games that much. It was the casual audience who just wants to fuck around, you know,
really
play for half an hour a day.
They caught something for like a second that was hot, red fucking hot. They sold a ton of those things.
Right.
And now it's done.
Yes. Sales numbers for the past 2 years are plummeted dramatically.
Yeah, they lowered the pricing. It's like $130 now or something.
Yes, they did. So
they realized it's over. They're okay. We're gonna make a new console now. Everyone's very, very excited. Going into this, they're saying all the right things. This is the true successor to the GameCube, I heard.
Right.
We want to appeal to all audiences. And actually, in this conference, their president Iwata, I think his name is something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out. And this guy was just dropping bombs of truth. This guy was fucking, man up there.
Torpedoes of truth.
Torpedoes of truth
at the Nintendo press conference.
Basically saying casual fans love the Wii. Other gamers are playing other systems. And they're like, wow. Fucking brilliant.
Right.
This is amazing.
It's true. And he's right.
He goes, now we want to appeal to everyone, bring everyone together. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Wii U, and fucking, what the fuck?
Everyone's like, they're all nodding, like, yes, no, what is this? So, obviously, the number one thing that everyone is like, what the fuck about? If you haven't seen it, you have to see it. It's fucking hilarious, okay? The controller for this fucking thing, I'm trying to find something that's probably the size of the... Here it is.
Stick my phone in the middle of it. Yeah, it's actually perfect.
This is the size of the Wii U controller. And we're not exaggerating. This is the fucking size of the controller. And the way it works is you're supposed to hold it like this, and it's got buttons on the side, okay, and a D-pad over here. And you play like this, and it's got a giant fucking screen on it that's a touch screen just like the Nintendo DS. And the whole gimmick that they're kind of giving you for this new system is the controller interacts with the game in new and impressive ways. So the first thing is, some games they showed you could hold it up like this and the screen, it would almost be like having a screen within a screen where you could zoom in and aim for a sports game or something like that. They showed someone put it down on the floor and they were like putting over it for a golf game and you could see the ball on the floor. And then the other selling point was, oh, well, sometimes not everyone wants to play video games in the living room. So, it's time for the big game, the big basketball game. So Dad walks into the living room and says, son, little Jimmy, I want to watch the basketball game. And little Jimmy says, okay, Dad. And he picks up his giant fucking controller that looks like an iPad, presses a button, and the game goes off the TV onto his controller, so he continues to play the game down here while his dad can watch TV on the TV.
I mean, the reasons they gave for it being so revolutionary are kind of weird.
They're weak.
Like you said, like the thing with the TV. I mean, back when I was a kid, that'd be a big deal. People had like one TV.
Right.
That was a great expense for a family. Now people have like 3-4 TVs in their house. It's not that expensive. Also, like the Xbox PS3, you can hook up to your PC monitor. There's all kinds of different ways to play the game.
Right.
So I don't think it's really a big deal with the extra TVs.
Yeah, I don't understand where they're going with
30
that.
years ago.
Like, that's great. I can buy a console, an expensive new HD console that I can play on a fucking screen on an iPad on my lap. Like, what the fuck? If I want that, guess what I'll do? I'll go buy a fucking iPad and I'll play games on my lap. That's not why people are going to buy a new console.
Yeah, the thing that really got me upset was they acted like it was so revolutionary.
Yeah.
All they really did was go, what's popular right now? The iPad.
The iPad.
Let's make the iPad a controller for our system.
Right.
Okay, and then they're talking about how people get different experiences. So, like, 3 people in the room will be looking at the TV while one person has the controller pad, and there's, like, different things going on. You all interact together. Doesn't that go on every day when you play online? When you play, like, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, things like that online?
Much.
Doesn't everyone have a different thing going on?
Right. You have one goal or whatever you're doing for your team, you know.
Right.
Has a
Everyone sees something
role.
different. So now they're just making that in your home.
Right.
But who the hell is going to buy it? How much is this going to cost?
The bottom line is this.
How much is this controller going to cost? Can you get, and how many times are you going to have 4 people in the room where it's really going to matter?
Right. People were really looking for Nintendo to say, all right, we fucked around for 4 years, 5 years, whatever it was with the Wii. We realized that we made a lot of money, but it's a mistake because we're not appealing to our core audience anymore. So we want to make an HD console that's going to catch up with everyone else, and all of our amazing, first-party games are going to be on it in HD, so it's going to be a hot seller. Yeah. That's all Nintendo had to do. It could have the console could have looked like a turd. Yeah. They could have called it the turd, and it would have fucking sold. But instead, here they are. They're going back to their old ways, which is exactly what they did with the 5 different versions of the Nintendo DS, the fucking Nintendo 3DS, the Wii. They're trying to find a gimmick to sell new hardware. That's
it. Just seems so simple to go up there. All they had to do, give them a 5-minute conference.
Yeah, really.
Hey guys, 2012, we're making an HD console. It's gonna launch with Mario with 2 other decent games. And it's going to build online infrastructure.
Right.
Boom! I'm buying that shit. I don't care if it's $500.
Yeah,
I will buy it.
Getting it. That's
but instead,
it.
Instead they just they go overboard with shit.
Now the problems. What are the problems with this console? Number one is obviously going to be the price point. Everyone's wondering how much could this thing possibly cost when you have an iPad in your hand and you're also buying an HD console. I mean, are people really willing to shell out another $400 to $500 for a console in this day and age when the consoles don't sell for that much anymore? This isn't 1990s when the Nintendo 64 came out and everyone was paying $600. Times have changed, and the economy's a lot worse. Money is scarce. Who wants to spend that much money for a new console?
Right.
The other thing. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
They had an idea, like the same idea years ago with the GameCube, with the Game Boy Advance link cables.
Right.
It's basically the same kind of deal. Where people had controllers that were Game Boy Advances, and other people look at the screen. There was like a Pac-Man game like that.
Right.
A couple other things that didn't really take off. So, like they've always had this idea, and now they're acting like they just came up with it now.
Right.
I know it existed before.
So the other problems that have come up from this is if you have a controller that's an iPad, and from what they showed it was like a D-pad here, 2 buttons here, maybe some shoulder buttons.
2 shoulder buttons,
behind.
4, and then the thing.
So how do you play cross-platform games on this fucking thing? Because that's not a controller that lends itself to like a first-person shooter. I mean, you have triggers, you're aiming down the sights. How the fuck are you going to play it on this fucking thing? It's just not going to happen. Or they're going to say, oh, use your fingers to aim like this.
You hold it up.
It's fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And then the last thing, this is fragile. If I drop this, I'm out. How much money? How much is this controller going to cost? And the big thing with the Wii was when the Wii first came out, kids were destroying TVs, kids were breaking the Wiimote because it was all...
fucking pad.
Yeah, so now imagine a kid, a 7-year-old kid, I lost, fuck this! And they fucking slam it on the ground. Now you're out $100 because the controller's a fucking TV. So, I just don't get... The common theme that seems to be going through everyone's mind right now is people just want to get back to the days when you said, I want to play a video game. This is my relaxation. This is my downtime. I want to come into my living room and sit down on a nice comfy couch. I want to grab an easy-to-use controller, whether it's, a standard controller, and I just want to sit here and play a game and relax and have fun.
Right.
I don't want to stand up and fucking do crazy acrobatic fucking moves. I don't want to have giant fucking iPads on my lap. I don't want to have to swing things and do fucking pantomime in front of my TV. Like, Do they really think that people want that? Like, I don't understand. Yeah, it's a gimmick and it'll sell for a little bit, but it's not going to ever appeal to the hardcore gamer. The hardcore gamer already likes this.
Right.
They never complained about this, so why are you trying to do away with this?
I think the fact that they're keeping the Wii name is going to hurt with that.
Yeah, the Wii U? What the fuck? The Wii U? It was bad enough when it was called the Wii. Now it's the Wii U.
I think that Wii name has, like, you know, the stigma with it.
Yeah.
Where this is like a kid's deal.
It's got such a negative association.
Not that I'm saying that it is, but this is what, you know, the average core gamer will.
The core gamer says thinks that the Wii is a joke.
So you almost have to start over with a whole new title and shit if you really want to bring these people together.
Right.
The other thing they're talking about, the third-party support, and they do this every time they launch a system. They say that we have all these third parties, but usually what winds up happening is their consoles are so different than the other ones that are out that these companies will make like 1 or 2 exclusive games, and if it doesn't sell, then they're done.
Right.
And the
cross-platform
games they can't put on.
They're watered down
Right.
versions of the real game. Everyone knows the best version is on a real fucking controller. Who wants to play Call of Duty on Wii? It's retarded. It's absolutely retarded. So I don't know where they're going with this.
They've always done that. They have to get back on track. It started with the 64. Was when they really.
Yeah.
It was when they really became like the second or third company.
Yeah.
Because they, you know, with 64 they wanted to do cartridges instead of discs.
They insisted on cartridges.
The GameCube had the weird controller, which wasn't really suitable for a lot of games. The Wii's got the graphics power wasn't up to par, and the control system wasn't good.
Nintendo needs
for these third-party games.
Now
they're doing this.
They need to get back to where they were in the 90s, which was, we are a company who you can depend on to make good games. That's all they need to focus on. Stop fucking around with hardware and make good games, and you will make a shit ton of money. But they don't seem to understand that anymore. They're all about shoveling out some bullshit hardware.
Basically, they have their third-party companies will try to make a couple of games. If they don't sell, they're done. And then Nintendo just goes through their catalog. You sort of figure out all these games are going to be.
Right.
Mario HD, Zelda HD, whatever. And then once they're done, they go.
We gotta wrap it up.
It takes about 3 years.
It
takes about 3 years, and then they're done, and then they have to become something else because they went through their 10 titles that they had.
Besides the 3 major press conferences, not a hell of a lot really happened. It's mostly just showing off games we already knew were coming out this fall. A whole new slew of 3DS titles that we knew were coming out anyway, but they hadn't been officially announced. They announced them, like Star Fox and all that kind of stuff. Twisted Metal still looks really strong. One of the highlights of the conference was when they showed that off. Some of the new games that were announced, Far Cry 3, a new Sly Cooper, and a new Kirby game, and those hadn't been previously announced. But again, it just seemed like it was more of the same game-wise. It was all stuff we knew was coming out or kind of knew eventually was coming out. So we're like, oh, okay, that's good. That's finally coming out. You know, so there's really not much to talk about specifically game-wise that we haven't already touched upon. So E3, what would you give it, John? Overall rating?
What I give
Scale
it?
of 10.
What I said last year?
I think you give it like a 2.
I'll say the same.
Wow!
I'll go up a point. There's a couple of good.
Oh my god.
There's a couple of good games. Like I don't know if it even counts though, because I'm into Uncharted, Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Those are already announced.
Right.
Ninja Gaiden's coming out again. That might be okay. We don't know.
Right.
There's a Metal Gear Collection. It might be okay. But nothing really. There's nothing like I'm too excited about because it's all stuff we played.
There's stuff you've already played, or it's a sequel you already know.
It's a sequel or a version of something I played. So I'll say a 3 if I said 2 last year.
I'll give it a 6, and the reason I give it a 6 is because it wasn't horrendously bad like last year, where all they talked about was motion control. But these game studios still have no idea what they're doing.
They just seem kind of lost right now.
They're focusing on the wrong stuff. Again, they're trying to push hardware that either we know is not wanted by the hardcore gamer, or just another way to make another quick buck rather than focusing on games, which is what the gamers want.
There's a lot of confusion. They don't know if like 3 TVs is what we're supposed to do. They don't really know if the motion controls are what's going to save them. They're just trying it out. It seems like let's keep going with this motion, see where it goes.
So
they don't really know.
So unfortunately, that's it for our E3 roundup this year. It could have been a lot better if they kept away from the bullshit, but unfortunately, they focused on it way too much.
New titles, no more sequels and shit.
New original IPs that are going to be the next generation of gaming. Maybe when they show the next slew of consoles, that's when they'll start the new IPs. Traditionally, that's what happens. So we'll see what happens hopefully next year. But still, even with the back E3, it's going to be a crazy year for gaming.
There's still a lot of good stuff.
So many good games coming out.
There really is.
All right, so that's it. I'm DSP, John Rambo, and signing off for our E3 roundup, and we'll see you next time.